This video was brought to you thanks to Raid Shadow Legends. Historically, Korea was an isolated nation and for centuries only traded with the Chinese, but in the middle of the 19th century foreign nations began to encroach. First, an American ship, the General Sherman, sailed to Pyongyang illegally, but ran aground and was destroyed. And in 1871, trying to find out what happened to the ship, and to sign a trade agreement, the Americans sent a punitive expedition. But even though they destroyed a number of forts, the Koreans were unwilling to negotiate and the Americans lacked the numbers to assault the capital, so they withdrew. Plus, earlier than that, after French missionaries were killed, the French launched a small expedition, but they could not make any notable gains, and like the Americans, just took Gangwha Island before retreating. And at this time, Go-jung was king, but his father ruled as regent Hwang-sung Daewon-gong, and he refused to enter any talks with the foreigners. Meanwhile, the Europeans had managed to forcibly open up China and Japan, and in Japan in 1868, the Meiji Restoration saw the end of the Tokugawa shogunate. The new emperor sent a letter to the Koreans informing them of these events, but the Koreans refused to acknowledge another emperor except the Chinese one. This is because they had been a tributary state of the Chinese for centuries, and even though the Chinese diplomats pressured the Koreans into acknowledging Emperor Meiji's new position, the Koreans still refused to do so. So in 1875 a Japanese ship was sent to survey Korean waters, and landed on Gangwha Island to ask for provisions. However, after the French and American expeditions that centered around the island, the garrison were instructed to fire upon any foreign ships landing. So as the ship arrived on the 20th of September, the Koreans fired at the Japanese, but their antiquated weapons did very little damage. And the Japanese responded by bombarding their positions before soldiers landed and overwhelmed the defenders without suffering a fatality. Meanwhile, in Korea, King Go-jung had married Queen Min, and she had pressured him into taking full control of the kingdom back in 1872. So the regent Daewon-gong had resigned, and the court was filled with the allies of Queen Min. And although they were still isolationists, they were very wary of the Japanese using even more force, and 6 Japanese ships appeared off the Korean coast to reinforce their position. So the Koreans finally relented and signed the Gangwha Treaty in February 1876, finally opening up ports like Incheon and Wonsan to Japanese merchants. Other foreign powers soon forced Korea to sign similar treaties, upsetting the social hierarchy within the country, and many disliked the influence of the king's new Japanese advisors. So in the 1880s, soldiers mutinied during the Imo incident, and the Japanese-backed reformers failed to take power in the Gapsun coup. So Japanese influence waned for the following decade. It was only in the mid-1890s, when peasants rose up during the Donghak Rebellion, that the Japanese were able to reclaim their influence in Korea, and they would finally annex the country in 1910. This video was brought to you thanks to Raid Shadow Legends, which is unlike any other RPG game out there. Now it has everything that you would usually expect from an RPG game, like PvP battles and a fantastic storyline. But Raid Shadow Legends managed to delve into dark fantasy while also mixing it with realism. And this is a cross-platform game which allows you to play it on the PC. But even if you were to play it on your mobile, you can see how amazing the graphics can be. The game works around your champions, which you can improve and kit up along the way using silver. Then you use your champions to defeat your enemies, claim your rewards, and continue on your quest. So to give you the edge on the battlefield, if you sign in every day you get daily rewards, which include silver, gems, shards and energy refills, and a free champion, the skill of the Drake. This reward program only used to last for the first 90 days, but now as a new player you can claim these rewards for 180 days. So go to the video description, click on the special links, and you will get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program to start your journey.